Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this game of Panzer Corps 2, where we are playing a new game. This is still in preview. This is still, I think, it's obviously still in development. I don't know when the release date is. I wonder, did they tell me that? I think it is now available on Steam. Sorry, let me just double check this. Astra Exodus, Panzer Corps release date 19th of March. There we go. So this is going to be released on the 19th of March, so about 2 months from now. Just under. Zate, hello. Thanks again for the help with the Aurora and the shout-outs. Been having an amazing month in terms of views and watch time. Almost 100% increase to the average. 50 to 60 increase compared to December. That's awesome, Zate. That is really, really good. Especially considering December is usually one of the better months. And January is usually one of the quieter ones. I'm glad I could help. So, yeah. It's a good series. I watched the first couple of episodes. Haven't had time to catch up properly, but I was enjoying it. It was good. And yes, in fact, I will do you another shout-out. So, Zate. There we go. Wait, is that your Twitch? Should probably double-check that. Yeah, it is. Should probably... And... YouTube. If you want to go ahead and throw up a link in the YouTube, for the YouTube as well, Zate, you are more than welcome to do so. I don't have that set up with a nice bot thing. But Zate does really, really good content as well, and he did a series on Aurora 4X, which has an introduction by somebody you might recognize, so you probably want to go check it out. Anyway, this is Panzer Corps 2. This is a turn-based, hex-based World War II game in which you play as Germany. I think you can only play as Germany. Whether they have plans to change that in the future, I am not sure. But I like what I see so far, so we're going to do a new game. There is no tutorial yet, so we're going to be jumping straight into the deep end of the campaign. And we have a number of different campaigns that we can work with. We've got Poland in 39, Barbarossa in 41, North Africa in 41, Kursk in 43, and then Italy in 43. But I quite like starting from the beginning. So we're going to be doing the invasion of Poland in 1939. We also have some advanced options here. Huzzah! Scapper coming in with a 22-month resubscription. Thank you very, very much for that. Driving a tank while sipping hot tea and reading chat. Ha! Trees and squirrels, beware. Just reminds me, in my current D&D campaign, there's a druid who likes transforming into a squirrel and has been following the party around for a while. And they really freak him. He really freaks them out because he just like appears and just starts throwing acorns at them. Anyway, back to this. So, yes, there are a couple of advanced options. One of the ones that I do want to change is this undo mode. At the moment, you can undo even attacks, which feels a bit weird. Being able to undo movement if you decide to move somewhere else, I think works a little bit better. Randomness 50% seems fine. Use is unlimited. Weather, ground, supply, fog of war, shroud, turn limit, Iron Man. I'm not playing with Iron Man, apparently that's heavily bugged at the moment. And I'm not doing any of the special challenges. And we are also going to be playing just on kernel difficulty. Normal. Completely normal. The other thing I should say is Ben Magnus has also been playing this, but he's taken a different path than I'm going to be, so hopefully our playstyles will be quite different. Yeah, let's do this. As a newly minted general in the German Wehrmacht, it falls upon you to spearhead the German invasion of Poland and prove your mettle in combat. Always choose your avenue of assault wisely, as future decisions will dramatically impact your campaign and even the course of the war. Is this like other games I've played? Yeah, this is probably the most similar to Unity of Command. Like, I haven't done a huge number of turn-based tile games, but there are a couple around. So, we can choose whether we wish to attack the south of Poland or the north of Poland. So this is basically the cut-off to surround Danzig and link up with Prussia, or we can do the southern attack through Krakow and then Warsaw, which is up here somewhere. There are different rewards and situations depending on which side you decide to attack. So if we go with the northern assault, then we'll have additional prototype equipment and rewards. However, if we go for the southern assault, we get bonus prestige. I quite like having lots of prestige, because prestige is basically your currency in this, meaning that you can buy additional units and also upgrade units with it. Prototypes is like unit upgrades over time. You'll basically advance in technology, but I want to just have more bigger booms. So we're going to go with Poland South. Have to catch the VOD. I'm in Australia and it's way too late to catch one of your amazing stream. Have fun, everyone. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Star Ace. Sleep well. And yes, the VODs will be up, and I'll probably upload this one to YouTube as well, depending on how it goes, of course. Okay, so, first of all, we create our character. So we are, of course, General Mordred. And then we can choose strengths and we can choose weaknesses. You get to have just one strength for free, and if you want to have additional strengths, then you need to basically take weaknesses to offset that on a one-to-one basis. So the strengths which are available is Infantry General, which means that your infantry units cost 25% less slots. This basically means you have a maximum army size, and in terms of how much of that maximum your infantry take up, it will be 25% less. Panzer General, tanks cost 25% less. Industry connections, you get 10 to 20 random prototypes in every mission except for the first. Don't actually know how prototypes work. Like, getting 10 to 20 sounds really strong, but I've only ever seen you get like one extra unit at the end of a fight. Like one extra design. So how exactly this works, I don't know. That's one thing. I did play like 3 or 4 missions in just to kind of work that one out, and I never got an answer. Liberator, you get plus 50% prestige for capturing flags. That's actually very, very powerful, because every flag that you get, you'll notice a couple of them around, you get prestige for taking them. So if you get 50% more, it means you basically get 50% more rewards. Deep Recon, map around all primary objectives is permanently revealed. That is also quite strong, because a big part of this game is recon, and if you can always see what they have defending, then you know whether you can like make a big blitzkrieg push or you have to be a little more restrained. Operational initiative on the first 3 turns of every battle. All units gain initiative +3, +2, +1 respectively. Initiative is basically how many times your units can attack before the enemy can attack you back. So every time 2 units fight each other, they both have an engagement, and then depending on their unit strength and their initiatives, how many shots they get off before your opponent fires, and then it basically takes turns from there. So the more initiative you have, the more attacks you get off, the more of them are dead, and so the less of them can counterattack. Master of Blitzkrieg, all tanks gain +1 movement point and can cross minor rivers. Battle Academy, plus 25% experience growth rate. Auxiliary Force gains additional auxiliary slots in every battle equal to 50% from available core slots. Interesting. I wonder how exactly that works. So the core slots is what I was talking about. That's the size of your army. And I guess you get another 50%, which you don't keep. How exactly it calculates that, I'm not sure. You get twice as much captured equipment and twice more prestige when forcing enemy units to surrender. Again, captured equipment is not something I've actually seen. So I kind of wonder if that's been properly implemented. Captured equipment and prototypes, I'm really unsure of exactly how that works. Encircled units suffer double penalties. Because I like buying a lot of units, encirclements are usually fairly frequent for me. So Deadly Grasp could actually be quite strong. Splitting units does not consume unit slots. So at the moment you can have a unit of say 14, you can split them into 2 units of 7. Doing so will usually cost you 1 extra unit slot. But if you have flexible commands, then it doesn't. So you can just split your units up as much as you need, wherever you need. Killer Team starts the game with 3 additional heroes. Anti-air veteran, anti-air units inflict outright kills instead of just suppression. That's actually quite strong. So there's a big difference in stats. So attacks will do damage and they'll do suppression. Some units like artillery do like 80% suppression, 20% kills. Suppression is effectively units which cannot fight. So if you have a unit strength of 15 and 10 suppression, 10 of those 15 are not in the fight. They basically don't count. Which is why artillery can be particularly powerful, because suppression, I think, basically ignores entrenchment and stuff like that. Perimeter control. Friendly unit in hex cancels zone of control in that hex. Friendly unit in a hex cancels enemy zone of control in that hex. Oh, I see. So I guess if you have, like, these two, then this guy would cancel I think it just allows you to basically push through enemy units. Okay, inept logistics. You get 20% less core slots. That is horrible. That's basically 20% smaller army. You cannot give overstrength to units, so it is possible to buff a unit over their base strength. So you'll notice these infantry have a strength of 15. You can buff them up to, I think, like 22, 23. Or for tanks up to 15, for aircraft up to 15. If you do this, and you can't do that. Denied Air Force, you cannot purchase air, cannot purchase artillery. New equipment 6 months later than normal. See, new equipment upgrades, how is that compared to prototypes? Because I think it's the new equipment that I've seen appear. Prototypes, I don't know. Cannot give elite replacements to units, so this is basically like in Ultimate General, where you can reinforce with veterans or not. This disables the veterans. Delayed reinforcements, cannot use reinforcements in the middle of battle. Ouch. Yeah, one of the things you're constantly doing is like reinforcing units as you push forward, so doing that is kind of painful. Poor maintenance, due to breakdowns, unit randomly lose movement points and attack points at the beginning of each turn. Chaotic fire, units spend 2 points of ammunition instead of just 1. So if you have good supply, this is probably okay, but if you are prone to getting encircled, chaotic fire would be very bad. Units get reduced supply at the beginning of their turn. So ordinarily you get full movement and full ammunition back at the beginning of every turn. Without this, you probably don't. Mordred, you appear to have some quality time to this game and done due diligence. It's just from playing last night. Green Army could be a fun or be a hard challenge. I mean, I actually find I almost never use elite reinforcements, so that wouldn't necessarily be a bad one for me. Poor ground control. Enemy units can freely move through your zone of control, so that would be horrible. Bad luck. This is the one that Magnus was using. Combat results can never be better than predicted. So at the moment there's like a 50% variance, I think. So you can have a 50% better result or a 50% worse result than the one predicted. With bad luck, it can never be better. Trench Slog. Each attack deals 1 point less damage to the enemy's entrenchment. So going after cities and fortifications will be very difficult with that one. Slow modernization can upgrade no more than 2 units per mission. So, at the beginning of the mission, in fact, during the mission, if you're in certain areas, you can upgrade your unit's equipment if you earn more prestige. So you could, for example, go from Panzer 2s to Panzer 3s. And then Fear of the Unknown. You cannot order units to move through the fog of war, which means you need to have a really good recon. I mean, it's kind of a bad idea doing this anyway, because enemies will get ambushes against you. So last time I went with, or during my test game, I can't remember which one I went with. I think it might have been Industry Connections, or it was Infantry General. But I'm very tempted to go for Liberator. What I might do is Liberator, Green Army, Infantry General? Or I'll just go for Liberator. I don't necessarily want to play with weaknesses. If I knew how prototypes work, then I might go for industry connections, but I just don't. Panzer General, I am more of a defensive like, if there was an artillery general, I would take that. Can you change the photo? Yes, you can. There are actually quite a few. Multiple of them having jaunty hats, which is very, very important. And also a magnificent mustache. I quite like that one. Looks upstanding. There's a jaunty hat. Jaunty hat. Jaunty hat. Mustache. I think I'm going to go with him. Chaotic Fire might be a safe weakness for your playstyle. Maybe. The problem with this is, and this is one of my pet peeves with hex-based games, I get why they do it and I hate it, is turn limits. There are turn limits and they are usually fairly draconian. Less in this. Unity of Command had a real problem with hex limits. They were far, far too harsh. I wish that they would just increase them. Like, give you an option to say, how draconian do you want your turn limits to be? Because I would set that down, because I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But having no turn limit would encourage you to move 1 hex at a time, which would be very boring. Prototype is you get advanced units earlier. Yeah, I get that, but how much is 10 to 20? Because that's not 10 to 20 units, that's just 10 to 20 prototypes. Because you do get like one prototype or one new unit per mission. Like going from this to Norway, you unlock Panzer 3s, for example. There might be different variants within a unit. I do know that I have like 3 variants of the Panzer II at the start. Those might be the prototypes, possibly. But again, 10 to 20 sounds like a lot. Deep Recon for the unknown seems like a free pick. Well, Deep Recon just reveals their victory points, not the stuff around them, I don't think. I think last time I went Infantry General. I do like infantry. Would be nice to have a commander trait that gives you some flexibility on game length. Or just a difficulty option. What was the other one? Liberator. I do like the idea of Liberator. The thing is, there are some units, like my artillery, which I probably would upgrade. Like tanks and infantry I probably wouldn't bother, but aircraft is another one that I probably would. We're going to go infantry general. We're just going to do standard Mordred here. Or Liberator, sod it. I'm going to go Liberator, we're going to have good gear. Or trophies of war. But then again, I don't know what captured equipment is. Encircled enemy units suffer double penalties. That one is also nice. As opposed to getting more stuff out of encircled people, you just do more damage to them. Which is really good at like taking cities and things. Now, we're going to be the Liberator. Yeah, sounds good to me. Guten Morgen, Herr General. You have my congratulations on your new promotion, but now is no time for flattery. I have been personally informed that the invasion of Poland, codenamed Fall Weiss, is to commence immediately. Preliminary estimates for the operation's completion are done 3 months ago, but now High Command demands the conquest of Poland in weeks. Mere weeks! Primary objective, capture all victory hexes, which are these green ones. To this end, I have transferred a detachment of 10th Army forces to be placed under your direct command, effective immediately. These men are well trained, but, like you, they lack combat experience. I am certain they will serve you well, and that you will mould your new Panzer Corps as you see fit in due time. You should secure the key crossings of the Varta River quickly to facilitate your movements and prevent the enemy from fortifying the river or possibly destroying the bridges entirely. I have also been informed that our declaration of war will be arriving later, so you should expect little if no resistance in the first few days of your advance. In fact, should you seize Kielce quickly, your forces may be able to break Polish mobilization efforts entirely. This would force the understrength Polish garrisons in the region to fight without reinforcements. So this has actually changed since I last played, and there was a introduction thing. This is better. This is better laid out. And telling me about the mobilization thing, because I did get a pop-up saying, the enemy is mobilized. I was like, you never told me that it couldn't. Or that I could stop it. Well, now I know. I have to go after that first. I eagerly await to see the results of your first combat operation. Don't make me regret putting my trust in you, Herr General. Okay, then. So, this is the game. This is the map that we are playing on. You can see that there is a vague hex outline. That is one of my favourite options, because you can actually choose just how much you want that to be. Although, weirdly, by default, it's this. So there is no hex. But that actually makes it really difficult to play, particularly if you're using artillery a lot, which I do. Or you can bring it all the way up to 80, where it's just completely hexified. But 40 seems to be a pretty good compromise between the two. Then on the top left, we have various options. So we can, for example, purchase new units. which we will go through in much more detail in a moment. Toggle chat, so this will be eventually playable multiplayer, and I think you can have multiple Panzer Corps on one side. Multiple generals on one team. Unit list, these are all the units that you have in play at the moment. Mission overview, this tells you what you got to do. And then unit stats. Oh, I see. It's a stat overview, although you get that anyway down here. And more particularly when you have this open. Oh no, you don't. Maybe I did have that open. I might keep that. We'll play around with it. Air bases are important. That's what these things are. And your aircraft will go out on a mission, do their mission, and then return at the start of your next turn. We will show you exactly how that works in a moment. So I think the thing that I want to do right now is we're just going to take a look through our units. So we have 3 units of infantry, 1 unit of grenadiers, and then 2 were infantry, which is just like your standard frontline troops. We have a Panzer 38TA, which are one of our most modern tanks. Then we have a Panzer 1B, which is an older anti-infantry tank. We have Sudkvs recon, so this is our recon unit. We have 1 unit of 7.5 centimeter artillery, which is the weakest artillery. I'll definitely be upgrading that. I like artillery. And then we have 1 fighter, 1 BF-109E, which is over there. Then what we can do is we can press this upgrade button and we can change the unit. So for example, our artillery, I'm going to upgrade. And it gives you this screen. These are the various different types of artillery available at the moment. And then if we hover, or if we click one of them, we can see our current stats and then the upgrade stats. So our current artillery has 12 soft attack. The upgrade to the 15 centimeter would have 18. We have 8 hard attack versus 21 hard attack. This is actually a hybrid AT artillery unit, which is pretty nice. Then we've got the 10 centimeter. The big difference between this and the 7 is this guy has 1 more range. Yeah. So the 7.5 centimeter has a range of 2 tiles. This has a range of 3. So we're probably going to be using this as like our base, because having that 1 extra range is actually really, really useful. Then we have the Storm Panzer, which is a mounted artillery, which means it can move and fire a lot better. I don't know the exact amount. That's still a little unclear to me. And then we have the 21 centimeter gargantuan thing, which just does a ton of damage and also, very nicely, has a range of 4. The other thing you can do is choose which kind of transport they have. So at the moment, this 15 centimeter has no transport. You can choose to have it motorized, or actually mechanized as it would be here, and then it will move a hell of a lot further. So mechanizing units is really, really important, especially, as I found to my chagrin, infantry. Infantry are really, 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 really slow unless you give them trucks. The other cool thing, which makes me chuckle a little bit, is you can give them just like horse-drawn carts for the really old guns. The newer ones don't have that, but the old ones do. So I think at the moment I'm tempted to just upgrade this guy to a 10.5 centimeter with a wagon. And that's going to cost me 90 ducats. We've got a 1,200, so it's not too pricey. And it's going to cost 1 more slot. So we're currently at 21 out of 36. So we can have a maximum army size of 36. So this will bring us up to 22. I think that's entirely reasonable. Done. This is now a 10.5 centimeter instead of a 7.5. Sonderkraftfahrzeug. Aha, so that's the recon. You're back 8 Red Baron Pizza. That sounds a bit cannibalistic. Okay, next. Let's take a look at new units. So our infantry, we have the Brückenpionier, which are bridge pioneers. They're engineers, basically. We have the cavalry, which are cavalry. Pioneer, which are flamethrower-equipped soldiers. These are excellent at taking fortified positions. And you will notice that they have a bunch of traits. So the Brückenpionier are bridge engineers. Acts as a bridge when positioned on a river. So you stick them on a river, then your friendly units can just drive straight over the top of them. Which is quite nice. They are close combat. Shoots against close defense rating in close terrain. I don't actually know what that is. Ground defense, air defense. Ah, close defense. Oh, I had not noticed that stat before. So Pioneer actually have close defense, whereas we're infantry do not. Interesting. In fact, even Grenadiers don't.